Hey, what's up, you guys? So, tonight I will talk about something that only a few months ago, like maybe back in February or so, I had heard of this and I kept thinking to myself, what? And that is something called DDLG. And for those of you who don't know, that stands for Daddy Dumb and Little Girl. Or alternatively, it's it's not necessarily that dad takes the caregiving or a male takes the caregiving part for a girl. It can also be vice versa. It can be that a female takes the caregiving role for a little boy. Anyways, so good old Urban Dictionary aided me with a definition. So it said that it's not a relationship between an actual father and an actual daughter, or any minor for that matter, because that is super illegal. And then it involves playing with childlike things such as stuffed animals, bedtime stories, and spankings, which is not really a game if you ask me. But, anyways, so just in case you didn't know what it was, then that's what it is. And well, when it comes to me, I cannot say that I am down for that. I cannot say this type of thing is something that I do or that I would consider doing. I think it's weird, especially if I'm past a certain age already. But but if I think about it as a way to just role play very temporarily, I would not object to other people doing it, but finding myself involved in that, I just cannot do it. Maybe what I do sometimes is that I may have a tone or mannerisms like a little girl, like I get excited when I go eat candy or something, but this is actually the case that I got around to looking at was about this woman who actually wore diapers and a pacifier and then just baby looking clothes, and she had a crib, and she had her man. I don't know if this is actually her boyfriend. I think it was her boyfriend. Um just a guy in general bring her stuff like bottles with milk in it and all that. And I'm like, what? I mean, like I said, guys, it's hard for me to really have an opinion on something that I would not participate in. But as I was watching that stuff, I was like, it's just weird for me. Um, I'm not against other people doing it, but my concern is it may send the wrong message to someone out there somewhere. And I think that if you like to participate in this type of thing, you should really keep it to yourself, because I would think it's part of your intimate life, and it's not something that everyone would understand. Um, but I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Let me see what you guys are saying, and maybe that might inspire a thing or two. Felix says hi. Hi. Steve says interesting topic. I know, right? I'm tripping. I don't even know what to say. Horribad says I can't say I can judge that. And then Knight says seems like some sort of dissociative mental disorder. You know what? When you say that, I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to call it that, but I wasn't sure if I should say that. Because, like I said, I know people out there have a way of experimenting and doing things, and just, when you try to break the routine, you come up with fun, silly stuff that only you and your partner understand. But also in the definition, it said that you don't have to be intimately involved with this person. So I don't want to just sit here and say that this is exclusively found in actual relationships. But if you actually think of a person who is acting like a baby or like a child, and you're actually thinking about getting intimate with them, although this is a legal adult that's participating in this role, nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I am concerned about the message that this may send because it may look like you may have a thing for that type of experimentation, um, like I said, it's within the legal realm. There's no crime being committed here because it's two adults participating. But if intimacy is involved and then this is practiced, that's what I'm worried about. I'm like, to me, that's just strange. In none of my relationships have I felt like I wanted to have my boyfriend play like he's my daddy. It hasn't occurred to me at all. So for me, as an as a third person looking at this and having an opinion on it, it's like because I don't think this way, I cannot really give a what can I say? Unbiased opinion. Like I just want to say this is flat out wrong, you know? But like I said, to me, my concern is the message that it may send out there. And you guys know that every once in a while we hear stories of stuff that happens to kids. So this is what I'm worried about more than anything, really. Let's see. Yeah, this is a real thing. It is because the woman wants to be taken care of and have no responsibility. No, it's more of a fetish, I think. As long as it's not harmful, there are worse things. Exactly. And good point. People just like weird things. I remember I was in high school when I learned about people having foot fetishes. And I'm like, what? I would have never thought about going for someone's feet like that. You know what I'm saying? So what can I say, you guys? This is kind of a tricky one in my mind. Before filming this, I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, and I said, you know what? Maybe when I start filming, my thoughts will collect on the go like it normally does. But really, I cannot say that I dig it. I cannot say that I would be involved in it, and I cannot say that I agree with this being well, it's not like it's being promoted, but I wouldn't like to read stories about it very often because someone out there may get the wrong idea, you know? So, yeah, let's see what else you guys are saying. And the guy wants to take care of them, totally understands. Yes, it is a fetish. I can't be your daddy. It is not something I would want to do. There you go. So it looks like you guys are more on the side of no, I wouldn't do that. I would probably go along with it if it made her happy. You know what? You bring up an interesting point because there is the aspect of cosplaying, for example. I can see myself wanting to give that a try. Like, say somebody dresses up as some cool superhero, like Superman or something, and then I guess I don't know, Wonder Woman. And then, it's pretty much the fan fiction that I don't believe anyone is asking for, and I hope that I never stumble upon it by accident. But you see, that would be cool because for a moment you're looking at your partner and they look like another person, but it's kind of a surprise when you actually get to the whole act and everything, and then you discover that it's them. Boom, surprise. That's fun. But when it comes to the image of a child and then being intimately involved when a person is like that, it's kind of strange for me because, like I said, it's all about how you interpret things. I would expect that we can count on everybody understanding that this is an adult thing and it should be reserved for that. But the world is a crazy place, and I feel like someone out there is going to get ideas from this, you know? Um, I know that I keep repeating that and repeating that, but you guys know that it's so very easy to be influenced nowadays with all the information that we have available, all the things that we can just get our hands into and just watch. So I would say if you're going to play a game of of this nature, do so responsibly. Um, yeah, I just do so responsibly. Responsibly. You would make a good Wonder Woman. Thanks a lot, because I think that the Wonder Woman we have seen in the cinematic universe lately has been pretty decent. So it's cool to be associated with that. And Jordan says, "Hi, Zamri. Hello." Let's see, you guys. I'm trying to do some last minute scrambling in my brain to see if there's anything that I can add to this, but I'm blank. I have nothing. Happy Saturday, everybody. Um, what else can I say? Like I said, it's strange. For me, it's really strange. I cannot associate stuff that normally goes with being an adult, which is not behaving like a child, not dressing like a child, not acting like a child, not dating like a child. I guess that's the conflict that I'm having in my brain that's leaving me kind of speechless, you know? Um, do many girls have daddy issues? Well, interesting question. I want to say that I'm an example of a person, hello, Brandon, who has daddy issues or had daddy issues in the past. I made a video about this a while back. But when it comes to my experience with it or what I think about when I think daddy issues is that you have your father and he was no good when you were growing up, and then you do not necessarily have the best opinion of him and really didn't have much of an involvement in your life. So therefore, you're just not happy. And honestly, for me, I don't like to say that I have daddy issues because I feel like it may be quite offensive for my father, even though he messed up. Let's put it that way. He messed up. He probably doesn't deserve much sympathy, but I let go of that stuff. But I think this is something that occurs very often because of the, I guess, epidemic of broken homes and divorces. And it's very easy to have a foot out the door when you're in relationships and people don't try to solve the problems at home. Um, you just want to escape from everything. You don't put the effort that relationships take. So at the end of the day, it's normally the children who suffer the consequences of the adults that mistakes do. And then that's how, for instance, little girls end up experiencing uh, the things that lead them to say, I have daddy issues, which is if you're a little girl who was abandoned, you don't learn what a guy in your life is. And then you learn to be resentful toward pretty much every single guy you encounter because you think that they're going to treat you like your father did. And that's wrong. And that's what happened to me. I, while I was growing up, I thought, what's the point of marriage? What's the point of dating? If every single guy out there is going to do what my mom went through, what my dad did to my mom, you know? Um, so it's something that one has to be careful with. Um, if a girl is not growing up with her dad, we need to explain to her that it's not her fault. That's, I think that's the first thing we need to let kids know, both boys and girls, that whatever's happening, it's not your fault. I wish I would have known that sooner because I was only told the story of what happened, but I was never really reinforced with all of this happened. You are an abandoned child, but it has nothing to do with you. It's not your fault. You know, it took me growing up and just becoming older, talking to many people, and just giving myself self therapy to let go of that. And I really don't have any issues with my dad. Like, if I saw him, I'll be nice to him like I am to everybody. But he's not my best friend, definitely. I would not trust him with much information about me in the present because I'm thinking, dude, you're a stranger to me. So do not expect for me to be tight with you like I'm with, say, my colleagues, my best friend, my mom, and all that. You know, sorry, dude, but we have to establish that first. So to answer the question once again, yes, it is something that's happening often, but I also think that the reason girls end up with that mindset is because we're not properly being guided when it comes to the process of handling not having a daddy in your life, Um, I imagine that based on the girls who I met who are kind of in my same boat, I would imagine that most women end up expressing their frustration with their children. Like, your daddy is terrible, your daddy's irresponsible, your daddy this, your daddy that. Negative, 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 negative messages. So when the girl grows up, she associates guys with just all this negativism. And then when guys approach her with good intentions and interest and, you know, the tenderness that the male heart just has, the girls end up ruining it because they act defensive without having any reason to. The guy is there to love you and he wants to just do things for you and he's nice to you, but you're treating him like trash because in the back of your mind you are expressing the emotions of your mother and her frustrated relationship. That's what I have a problem with. And that's why I urge girls to just seek out um, the truth, help, and support. Accept that you have the problem, accept that the emotions that you're expressing are not really yours, they're actually your mother's, and somehow let go of that. Experience your individual life with your individual personality, experience relationships, get involved with a guy, and then based on your own experiences, based on how you are, you determine what's toxic, what's true, what's applicable to you, and what's not. So hopefully I made a point there. And for those of you just jumping into the stream now, I just covered the DDLG stuff, so um, we may need to go back to the stream after I post it to the beginning. What is the topic of this conversation? Well, since you're asking, Brandon, all this means is relationships between two adults. Let it be known that it's no minors involved, and it may involve intimacy or not. What is wrong with the left side of my nose? Anyways, it may or may not involve physical intimacy, but the most important thing is that this is not actual intimacy involving um, an actual father and an actual daughter, because it's possible to interpret that as, oh, you mean an adult daughter with a father? That's crazy. No, nothing like that. It's just that there's this, let's call it preference that some people have when it comes to conducting their relationships, and it is kind of like a role playing type of thing in which a in in the example I used, the girl may act like she's a baby, and then the guy acts like he's a daddy, a caregiver. Um, and then it may also involve playing with childlike things such as stuffed animals, bedtime stories, and then spankings. And that I based my explanation of the definition in Urban Dictionary, in case you are wondering. And then pretty much I expressed that I cannot relate, I don't get it, I would not participate in such a thing, and I am worried about the kind of message that this may send to some people out there because the world is a crazy place. But really, I did not have much to say on the matter because I just don't get it. And then some guys in the comments say that they think it's a fetish, and also someone mentioned it could be dissociative disorder, which made sense to me. Um, because what was weird about this one video that I saw, it's been a while, so I don't recall what it was called, but um, the girl seemed to be convinced that she was a baby, and I'm like, no, no. So yeah. Let's see. Hello, DH. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. Lately, the woman I have been intimate with call me daddy. It's kind of disturbing. Well, in that case, it's kind of different. The context is different, you know? Back when I was still married, my wife never called me daddy. I get called meep. Is it bad that I don't know what that is? And it's good to see you online, you dark Spidey, Mr. Man. I feel like I haven't caught up with you. Most kids copy their parents' everything they do, good or bad. If I have any kids, I can't never leave my kids at all. Fathers and moms do the same thing of leaving their kids. So sad, so sad. About it, kids just want their parents no matter what. Exactly. Oh my god, I'm so glad you said that because there were times in which, I was a little girl and I would have my nights in which I would just cry in my bed and I'm like, all I want is to have both of my parents together, just like a bunch of other kids in school. But then I understood why that wasn't happening for me. And when I think about it now, I'm very grateful about the things, about how things turned out, because it would really suck to be in a home where the relationship between both adults is hella toxic. There's no way that would have been healthy for me or my brother. Kids hate to see their parents getting divorced, mess the kids' minds up. Some be strong, some don't. On the note of divorce, because divorce is something that is so common, I feel like it's become a thing that is incredibly normalized. And I would expect that when people get married, they are not thinking about getting divorced. Like, I know people out there may use other people. Like, some people do get married out of interest, out of financial gain, etc., etc. So maybe you have the intention of getting rid of this person at some point so you can get a piece of the, you know, cake or the whole cake, if depending on your terms or whatever. But because divorce is an option, I feel like a lot of things have a solution, but people do not want to invest the time and put in the effort and work that it takes to bring stuff back to functionality. Um, if that did not make sense, what I'm trying to say is that I feel like people are just ready to give up as opposed to trying to keep working on keeping your home glued together. You know, I feel like divorce makes it easy to. It's like it's breakup, but on a legal level. When you are just dating someone, you can just be done, dump them, and boom, it's over. When you are married, what happens to the vows? Like, why are you ignoring the vows? If you go, if you abide by the laws that are written in that little contract or the rules that are written in that contract, I would expect for stuff to work out, you know? Um, so I think divorce is now treated as normal and um, just the ultimate solution to anything. And I wish that people would walk into marriage just understanding that there will be differences, there will be challenges, but everything has a solution. What if most divorces didn't really need to happen in the first place? That's what worries me. Because if you think about it, as individuals, we are all different. So the trick is, how do we deal with those differences? I don't think that you will ever find someone who's 100% compatible with you. You may feel like a person is 100% compatible with you, but there is going to be something somewhere at some point where there is a disagreement, but that does not mean that it has to ruin you. You have to do some exploring, some trial and error type. Something extreme would have to happen. Like, let's say we have children, and this guy is just not stable enough to be around children. That's how it would need to be. Or vice versa. It could be that I'm the one who's having issues that are endangering those close to me. So, therefore, establishing a distance is important. But I am in no way thinking about giving up on my spouse just because we are having a disagreement, an issue or two, you know? Now, if there's physical violence, I think that that's it. Definitely, you have to leave. That's never okay. No one should have to put up with that, you know? So, but some stuff I think is just minimal. Like, I guess because I think about waiting until it's proper, I assume that everyone else thinks like me, which is don't have kids until you're prepared, don't get married until you're prepared, and until you actually know your partner well and not out of impulse. So that's why sometimes it's kind of difficult for me to just be vocal about some things because it may seem like I cannot consider stuff in a way that's not just ideal, but I do, guys. I really do think about this, and that's why my mindset is the way it is. And that's what I'm trying to voice and promote. But I understand why mm, stuff doesn't work out for some people, and it's because we're not the same person. We don't think the same, and it's okay to not think the same because we're not the same person. But when the consequences are negative, that's pretty alarming. And that's when I encourage people to really think stuff through. Anyways, I'm rambling now. Sorry. Um, let's see. Where did I leave off? Was just about to read my Bible after talking to my girlfriend, and look who's going live. Well, I would not like for you to lose your time with, I know that's important, like reading the Bible and stuff. I wish I did that because sometimes I get into religious conversations or spiritual conversations and I do not reference it. And I guess I should because people say that some stuff that I'm saying is in the Bible or the way I express things is found in the Bible. And I'm like, oh, I would have never thunk that. Most people have open marriage. I hate that so much. Yeah, yeah, like open relationships. That makes zero sense to me. It's either you're with me or you are not, but I am not sharing, period. Um, I understand what you're saying, Zamri. I blame the feminists for all of this. Haha. You know what? Now that you mentioned that, there is stuff going on presently that I disagree with, and I think it's wrong. And I think some stuff is definitely exaggerated. Um, like, I feel like the male image is constantly under attack. And that the best way that I can put this into an example is you guys read or hear very often about how the guy needs to be just softer, how the guy needs to be more gentle. In other words, display more female attributes. I'm thinking to myself, why are we demanding this from a man? If we demand this from a man, progress as we know it just wouldn't be there. Because to put this into a crazy perspective, some guy had to have the guts to install wheels into things and then, I don't know, set himself on something that had the wheels installed and then go down a hill and probably get hurt for us to discover that that would be an efficient way of transporting things. You know, some guy had to have the guts of getting the materials together to make a shelter that's better than the shelter that they were using. Some guy had to put himself in danger in a laboratory just conducting experiments and then maybe getting electrocuted somewhere somehow for us to advance. You know, basically, women do not take a lot of risk because we take care of people, whereas the guys are adventurous and they like danger and they like, that's just how guys are. So why are we trying to undo the very thing, the very mindset that allows for progress and discoveries and the enhancement of our life, the comfort of our lives to exist? You know? So that is what I do not agree with about the feminism stuff. Like toxic masculinity. What even is that? What about being masculine is toxic? For me, I'm attracted to guys who display a lot of masculinity. You know, I want to be with a guy who is strong, who is driven, who is, what can I say? Unlike me, but we correspond, which is the stuff that I totally fail at, he can supply. And the stuff that he may lack here and there, I can help him with, you know? But nowadays, we're treating this like it's a competition between the genders. And that is why I cannot be going around labeling myself as a modern day feminist. You know, I think that term needed to be used decades ago when we actually had stuff to fight for. But in the present, it's kind of weird for me. On Twitter today, there was this little trend about how the women have like two-thirds of the student debt, which is about $270 billion. Maybe that's wrong. Don't quote me on that number. But the number is up there. And then, of course, people were saying stuff about we need to give more jobs to the woman and we need to have equal pay for the women and this and that. And I'm like, that is so misleading because maybe what kind of degree are you getting? Maybe, just maybe, if you choose a degree that enables you to work in a field where you will get hired that pays well, maybe you will be able to pay off your student debt a little faster and you do not have to suffer from interest if those loans have interest applied. I don't know how that works because I spared myself from student debt by not going to college. Um, and then if you are not working enough, if you're taking a lot of vacation, if you're not you're not getting paid the same as your male counterparts because you are not doing the same job. So you cannot demand pay for doing less. It doesn't work like that. So I personally do not feel that pay gap. I don't feel like it's real, because it is. If you want more money, you have to work more, but you have to work on something that is profitable for you, like a skilled job, not unskilled stuff. It's like I sit here, it's like me sitting here and telling you guys, I deserve to be paid $65 an hour because I am on my feet all day. It doesn't work like that. It's what you can make, what you can produce. How does your productivity impact the community? you know but most women don't go for careers like that, careers that are valuable. Just saying. Just saying. Let's see, where did I leave off? I just do not know how to keep it concise when I start rambling. um wow, you guys really got ahead of me. Scroll, 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 scroll. Okay. Bible is the answer to everything in life of God. Marriage needs to be revised. Make it like a contract, like a minimum of 5 years. After time's up, you renew or part ways till death do you apart, or the contract's expiration. You know what? That is cool. I never considered that. That's pretty cool, actually. Because I feel like that's more doable. And what I mean by that is, let's face it, guys, let's face it. As much as you love somebody, as much as you love your spouse or whatever, some people are just not designed to be attached to one person forever. And not only that, but you may not discover everything that there is about a person and your compatibility with them until you actually start living the married life. So if you guys get into it and you realize that it's not working for you, you shouldn't feel like you have no way out, because then that's when disaster strikes and both of you start doing your own thing, and you know but then how would we handle the kids? Because you have this contract, but let's say there's children involved. How can we make you part ways without affecting the children? What would be the terms in there? You make a good point. The law are meant for women and the simps in the court system. You are correct about divorce. Marriage is an extension of business. Exactly. Marriage is all about getting the government involved. As an institution, I guess it had the right ideas on how to ensure that it works, but I don't know. It's just crazy. When I think about the government's involvement in my life, I think to myself, the lesser the better. Marriage shouldn't be revised because that means giving the government more power in our lives that we don't need. Yep, marriage is a business, nothing more. I would never remarry under current circumstances. The man risks and loses too much. And see, you guys, that's why I love that you guys express your opinions, because I understand why you are frustrated now and why you would not dare to take that step again or for the first time. It is a big step, and you can either gain a lot or lose a lot. And from the male perspective, let's face it, the system tends to favor the woman because we are seen as defenseless and everything. And I'm like, no, we need to be held accountable. We need to be held equally accountable. That's what I meant. Um, because if the laws are there, then they need to be enforced. And if women are part of society, which most of this stuff was made by men, then of course there's going to be differences. Um, but yeah, you guys, when you guys express being MGTOW and all that good stuff, it kind of, I don't want to say it offends me, but it 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 kind of hurts me because I'm thinking, see, because other bitches did that, I'm going to suffer because I'm not like that. I have good intentions with a man when I get involved with him. So to know that in the back of his mind, a guy dating me is going to be feeling and thinking that way, I don't blame him. But at the same time, I'm like, why do I have to pay the consequences of other women? Other women are other women. I am me. You need to give me a chance too. But anyways, I'm hoping that during my relationship, I don't have to go through that, you know. Um, so yeah, would you dress up for your mate if he had this fetish? Wow, I would have to say no because it's not something I would be comfortable with. Simple as that. And I think that in a relationship, it is important that you do things if and only if you're comfortable with it and because you want to. It's cool that you need to please your partner, and for me, pleasing my partner is super important. But when it comes to crossing a line that for me is personally established, can't do it. So, no, I would not dress up as a baby. Marriage and children are a risk. I'm married to an imaginary unicorn, and that unicorn isn't out to ruin my life. Better off getting fixed. Oh no, Zamri saw me. Lionheart quickly runs away and hides. The man image is under attack. Yes, you are right. The man image is under attack. Women have changed society. Everyone is soft nowadays. See, the age, now that you say that, it's crazy. Women are an insanely privileged group. Um, yeah, our influence is a serious thing. And the thing of it is that I think we are using it incorrectly. When I think of modern feminism, I think of it as um, the modern attempt at female supremacy. Did I say that correctly? Anyways, I think it's all about bringing the women to the top. And I'm like, you know what will bring you to the top? Competence. Become competent. Um, but if you're trying to have easy jobs that are, that cannot be paid highly because it's easy and unskilled, you ain't gonna make it. And it shouldn't be about rising to power. It should be about you manifesting yourself on your calling in life, you know? Women have changed society. Everyone is soft nowadays. Most women love thugs. Isn't that crazy? I always wonder why girls like the bad guys, the real, real, real bad guys. I know that, listen, I feel like because the population is so big, the human population, it's a lot of people. I feel like there's someone out there for everyone, but at the same time, even people who do bad things are loved. Like there's still someone's. Let's. I'm going to just pick one gender. There's someone's brother, someone's husband, someone's you know son, and then it could be someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone's aunt. So you will be loved whether you're good or bad. So when it comes to relationships, I really do think that there's someone out there for everyone. or more than one person out there for everyone. Because just because, let's say, how can I phrase this? Just because I'm taken doesn't mean that that's it. No other guy is going to like me. Someone out there is going to like me, and vice versa. I'm taken, but it is possible for me to like another guy because there's just a lot of guys out there, and everyone is unique and has their traits. Some will be more outstanding than others, but that's when you need to be honest with yourself and you need to ask yourself, can I handle this one individual, this one person for the rest of my life? If you say no, then please do not get committed to someone and make this other someone who is serious about things feel like you're committed and waste their time and hurt them. But if that is for you, if you can be entirely monogamous, then, you know, go for it. You will still be human. You will still experience attractions that are, you know, additional to what you have. But are you going to act on it? If you're going to act on it, you should not commit. Um, or I guess you could do that thing called open relationships, which I don't get and I wouldn't do. Women love thugs because, again, feminist, nice guys finish last always. Most men love nasty women, not clean women. Wrong. Nice guys don't finish last, and if they do finish last, you will find the woman after 30 when she hit the wall and her looks are gone, or 5 kids later. I guess you meant kids. Cannot blame men when women have the freedom to do whatever they want. A lot of women show their true colors. We can't blame men when it's what women want to do. I like to play a game whenever Zemri F is live. I try to say silly stuff as much as possible before she notices my comments, just to see how much I can get away without her noticing. No one is making women go to Backpage or sell sex. I'm a man, I love kindness, but most men are scared to want real love. You are right, the age. If you guys don't mind sharing, what would each of you present right now define as real love? What is real love to you? Um, Maybe it's very similar to what me as a woman it is, or it may be entirely different. You can be honest, even if it's speak your mind. I can take it. Like the platform is yours. Women raised and created these boys for the last 50 years. Lately, Zemriev has been catching me early. I'm gonna have to up my game. Do you guys do that to where in your mind, if something is capitalized, you read it really loudly? That's why I had to put that emphasis. Nowadays, everything about money. Nowadays, everything is about money or relationships. Or relationships. America's current state is an attack on the mind. Sites like Twitter prove it. Oh, absolutely. The mind is under constant attack. I'm so glad you said that. Um, there's just so much information out there. What do you do with it? How can you filter out the bad stuff? How do you know what's true and what's not? I cannot say that I'm safe just because I gave up TV, but because now I spend all that time on the internet, but I limit my interactions really. Like usually I speak to people who I know, and if I'm reading something, I try to read it as critically as possible. Or excuse me, I like to read it thinking as critically as possible, um, because I am aware of how something that you read can influence you, and I don't want to be uh, easily manipulated. Put it that way. I hope that makes sense. Yes, wage gap is a myth and it's been debunked back in the 70s. Most men hate women making more than them. of them. I don't mind as long as a woman don't try to control a man. Yes, relationships are all about money. That's why you should opt out. I have a playlist on the wage gap myth. Now that I think about it, yes, money is important when you are an adult, and of course, it does have an effect on relationships. But I feel like you can just tell when a person is with you and it's all about the money. Um, I would say the biggest red flags would be the expectations in the relationship. Like, are you expected to go on constant dates? Does she ever confront you about you not buying her something? Um, and I don't know if you guys have caught me during one of my streams or a few of my streams when I say, when a sister wants something, a sister buys it for herself because that's what I work for, to um, satisfy my needs and wants as well. So if you are able to do that independently, then I would say you are prepared for a relationship. But if you go into a relationship wanting for that to be the solution to your financial problems, that's not wise. Period. Not wise. Let's see, where did I leave off? Why am I lagging? That doesn't look nice. Okay. I don't know how young some of you men are, but if you are 18 to 25, don't forget to register for selective service. You definitely need it to what federal employment. Huh, interesting. I never uh, read of that or heard of that before, but it makes sense. A woman will control you sooner or later. Trust me, I know. If she doesn't put a ring on it, and you will see her true colors. I think the government needs to stay out of our business. This is why no fault default was invented, so no need of a 5-year contact. Us men about money, women about looks. That's the world nowadays. Yes, I feel like I heard a song that's like that. Like that the women are always concerned with what fashion in Paris is like, and then the guy is all about numbers and digits. But then again, like I mentioned earlier, the basics in society were implemented and established by men, mostly for men. So, or I guess I should say by men for men, because I'm talking about way back in the day, way, 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 way back in the day. So, yeah, it makes sense that that's the way things are. And usually, the way to resolve things is through a revolution. But let me tell you, I'll be the first one to wave my uh, white flag or my white towel, whatever, indicating that I give up. I do not want to be in a war against men because I can tell that I will lose miserably. So sometimes that's what I feel like modern days is like. It's like we have a cold war. And I'm like, please don't ever let that get hot because, yeah, I just don't want to see that world. It would be, yeah, frightening. There is no such thing as no way out. This is why no fault divorce was created like back in the 70s. I was reading X-Men today. That being said, you can divorce within a few months without a reason. Thank the feminists for that also. How many men think Zamri F would should go as Storm for Halloween? Interesting that you mentioned that, Lionheart, because a very close friend of mine was telling me about going to like a convention where you can dress up and stuff. And then I'm like, oh, I want to be an X-Men or X-Woman. and I would definitely be Storm because she's my favorite mutant. So I went on Amazon and I saw a Storm um, costume. I dig it, but I cannot promise that that's happening this Halloween. But yeah, yeah, it's interesting that you should mention uh, her, Aurora Monroe. That's cool. I have also been curious about how I look like with white or gray hair because it's coming. Give me like another 10, 15 years. I learned the law. I was married before. Trust me, MGTOW. MGTOW is a voice for men leaving the plantation. Wow, to hear a guy mention being involved with a woman as a plantation, as being in a plantation, it's, yeah, I'm sorry that's happening. My lady is Thai. That culture, the women are very loyal to their husbands. Only drawback, they got control issues badly. But other women and simp men control the courtrooms. Yes, people need to forgive each other and never blame all men are evil and all women are evil. Never true. Yes, it's all about being popular, said. Many girls like men with long hair too. We are too few. I wish more men grew their hair long. Well, I, as of lately, Horribad, I just so happen to be complimenting guys on having long hair. I don't know if it's your influence, but at work there was this guy who had his hair was getting long, and I said something about it. And then he happened to cut it. And I'm like, why you do that? But I think I told him that I liked his long hair after he cut it. Um, and then there is someone else who I want to say something to, but then I'm afraid that by me saying something, I'm going to ruin it. Um, and then there is also someone really close to me who I'm like, oh, keep letting your hair grow. Um, so yeah, interesting that you should mention that. Um, I love women that love thugs because trust me, men, if you work on yourself in your 20s, you will be fine. These women, like thugs, will have 3 children and come begging for you. Men need to have a standard. It goes back to men minds being attacked. On the note of having standards. Oh my god. Let me please stay. Please stay. Okay. All right. Isn't it crazy that women can have high ass standards, and for some reason, if a guy has standards, there is a problem with that? You guys ever hear that? Do you guys know where I'm coming from? Because it's crazy. It's like, let's pretend that y we have a girl who is all about looking for a guy who meets a certain criteria. You have to be fit, you have to have money, you have to have, for some reason, a single guy has to have 2 cars or supply one. If you have 1 car, you have to supply one for the woman. Like the double standard. Just why? It's okay for a guy to have standards. He should have standards. Everyone needs to have standards, and they should be honored and respected. But when a guy says something about a woman, he's instantly shut down and called, um, well, what's my word? Misogynist. And I'm like, what? There's nothing misogynist about having standards. That's just basic stuff. So yeah, sorry, that completely pushed a button that I didn't know was there, but I'm glad I got that out of my chest. Um, oh Jesus, where did I leave off? Um, let me put on my mask. Um, sorry, I wish there was a way to like mark where I leave off in my comments because now I have to sort of speed read and see where I left off if I let go. while I'm touching it. Um, okay. I say I care less what other women think, and guess what? I had some of the prettiest chicks ever. Prettiness. I have found some people love to be lied to and love being narcs. It goes back to the main topic, daddy issues. Not sure why I wrote that. No. I never care nobody what nobody thinks except God, as you should. I love women that are kind, funny, and cool. Being cool. I think depending on how people are raised and what they seek, love can be defined in many ways. I think real love to me is a reflection on myself in views. Interesting view, because for me, my best experiences with love has been when someone just understands me, someone just gets me, someone mirrors me, and all that good stuff, you know. So it was cool to read that. I currently don't believe in real love. I do believe in casual intimacy with women I think are cool. Nothing wrong with that. Whatever floats your boat, mate. I have no clue what love is anymore, honestly. I guess a lot of people feel like you, honestly. Disappointment after disappointment, it can get tough. So I'm not surprised that you say that. Real love would involve dressing up for your mate's fetish, regardless of your boundaries. Yeah, look at you trying to drag me and roast me. Why are you salty, bro? Nah, just messing with you. I think men and women don't love the same for the most part. Most people that think men should do XYZ, like we are some workhorse, should study history, Anglo Saxon laws affect us today. Yeah, it goes back to what I mentioned about guys having to like do everything. I studied this mess and writing a book on this topic. Your nose is beautiful, Zamri. Thanks a lot for the compliment. You know how my ex was. Yes, the dates and other stuff she wanted got her kicked out. I don't do exceptions whatsoever. All right, I'll be prepared to pay for our lunch date then, if we were to have one. I don't have issues paying for stuff. For me, the rule is if it's my idea to like go on a date, I should pay. If it's your idea, then I think you should pay. But if it's something outrageous, I think you should offer to split it. That's always the way I've gone about it. But of course, sometimes I lose miserably because the guy tends to be all about taking care of his girl. So sometimes my offer to split the bill is declined, and I'm like, I'm not going to fight, but at the same time, please let me help my man spoil me, if that makes sense. My sons are with me right now. I had to kick that to the curb. That's good. Selective services for the draft, and if you don't sign up, they will send you to jail. It's not for federal employment. Is that the lie they are telling people nowadays? The way I learned it is selective service is something that guys have to do at age 18, and you can be dropped it, drafted up until the age of 50. Sorry, I'm not a guy, so I didn't think about memorizing all that. Oh, yeah, and if you wonder how I felt about years ago, the talk was there about making selective service mandatory for women as well. I was scared as hell. I was scared as hell. Um, Let me see. Benevolence, charity, reflection, sorry, affection also coincides with love thy neighbor as thyself. So true, Zamri. I have books on this. They have been attacking men since America was formed. Still X-Men, not X-Women, but I get your point. Yeah, I was trying to be silly. Cool, Zamri, you're a superhero to me. That means a lot. That's a big compliment. Because everything was built around Professor X. I'm the X factor around here. How many defining entry is concerning love, but my mentor taught me the defining entries that pertain to the Bible. But that's just me. I wish that there was a way for me to make text bigger in the comments because my nearsighted eyes just cannot take it from a distance. I would think you would be Jubilee. I vaguely remember her. I watched X-Men back in the 90s, the animated series in 1993. My hair is super long, Zamri. That's my picture, King Jordan. I'll never cut my hair. Have you guys ever heard of, or maybe someone out there does this, one of you guys does this, that a guy may let his hair grow out until someone important to him passes away? Like, I know someone who said that he will not cut his hair until his mom dies. Do you guys know what that's about? Have you ever heard such a thing? I am Beast. I called it the big blue dog from the X-Men. Yeah, I remember Beast. You want to admire guys with long hair? Look at Tolkien's elves from Middle Earth. You'll probably faint. Attack on the Mind. Feminist again. Zamri, you're so funny when you say my mask. My mask. Why are you so cute, Zamri? I don't know. Honestly, I'm surprised that anyone finds anything I do as cute. But sometimes when I watch my playback, I make myself giggle here and there, but I never considered myself someone humorous. I like to have energy to me, that's it. But I didn't know that I could genuinely make someone like laugh, you know? Chat room, I am cute too. All right, everybody, let's give this guy some reassurance. Lionheart, you are cute. Someone needs a little bit of support. Let's help him. Let's help a buddy out. Women are beautiful as long as the heart is kindness. I agree. That's a good way to define it. To define beauty. Lionheart starts to pout to himself. Um, Not that I mentioned that, or you mentioned that about kindness being associated with beauty. Come on, Zam, put your thoughts together. Okay, you know how external beauty is like limited? Like at some point you'll age and you just will not look the same and all that. Well, character traits don't age. No matter what, they remain the same. Like, I know that the skin and the body shape that I have now is not going to be the same forever. But but of course, character traits mean the same today as they will tomorrow. So, yeah. Let's see. You select a service as a way to sign up, and if you don't, you will go to jail. But many government jobs will not accept you without your selective service number. I was in the army. You are a superhero, yeah, you're epic. Obviously, us military men are kinda exempt because we served and are already in the system. Message retracted, message retracted. It's been a long time since I've been on your live or YouTube itself, really. Well, thanks for joining me. It's so good to see you. Honestly, I was starting to miss you. There was a time when we would hang out a lot, you know? So don't be a stranger. And I know that I owe a few of you um, some emails. Trust me, I have not forgotten. It's just getting to a computer sometimes, it's challenging for me. And doing everything from my phone is not usually ideal for the volume that I get, you know? But I haven't forgotten. Samson lost his strength when his hair was cut. One of the only long-haired non-douchebags was the great Samson. Oh, cool. Well, guys, I think I have rambled on for quite some time now. And this was a pretty good stream. I learned a lot from you guys, and I'm glad that you shared. Um, and hopefully, I was able to have good filler for my lack of an opinion with the DDLG stuff. um, but yeah, this was quite. I liked what I learned from you guys. Remember, I am the computer guy. I'm still here no matter what, and you know how to reach me, anyways. Absolutely. All right, guys, as always, thanks so much for tuning in, and I shall return tomorrow. I'm sure I'll be here tomorrow. Not sure at what time, but I'll be here tomorrow. So, good night, you guys. You have great views, and I greatly applaud you for that. I say you are definitely blessed. Thanks a lot. Good night, and bye bye. See you guys.